Welcome to another edition of Breaking News brought to you by Source Selection Soundbites. Today, we will discuss the case of Anthra Pharmaceuticals, Inc., or Anthra decided by the General Accountability Office, or GAO. HHS published a SBIR Phase 1 solicitation to obtain research support in areas of scientific interest to the Public Health Service. Anthra submitted 2 proposals to support agency requirements. The agency reviewed the proposals for the synthesis of analogs of clinically active anti-cancer agents and found them to be of sufficient scientific merit and feasibility to warrant awards. However, upon further review, the agency determined that its proposals failed to comply with the solicitation's eligibility requirements regarding the employment of the principal investigators. Therefore, they did not receive an award. Upon learning of the agency's decision, Anthra protested. Anthra contends that HHS failed to make awards because it improperly determined that the principal investigators for the 2 research projects were not primarily employed with Anthra, as required by the terms of the solicitation and the Small Business Administration SBIR and STTR Policy Directive. Anthra argues that its proposed principal investigators are involved with Anthra to a significant extent above and beyond their university employment. According to Anthra, its principal investigators are founding members and current officers and directors of the firm, and as such are fully committed to the success of Anthra through time, effort, and financial investment. Anthra also points out that its proposal says the investigators will devote 41 hours per week to the company. HHS takes the position that the principal investigator eligibility requirement would become a sham if it accepted the proposition of an 81-hour week for an investigator, 40 hours of which are spent in the employ of a non-small business organization. En route to finding against the protester, the GAO stated that they found it was reasonable for HHS to conclude that Anthra did not meet the solicitation's eligibility criterion. Solicitations must be read reasonably, and in our view, they continued, a requirement that the offerer be the principal investigator's primary employer, so that more than half his time is spent in the offerer's employ, simply is not met where the investigator already has a full-time 40-hour-per-week job with someone else. Given these facts, the protest was denied. Now let's address a few of the lessons learned from this protest. They include: 1. Primary employment literally means more than 1/2 of the principal investigator's time is spent in the employ of the small business. 2. An investigator with 2 full-time jobs does not meet the definition of primary employment. And 3. The current SBIR and STTR Policy Directive says this requirement precludes full-time employment with another organization. In this episode of Source Selection Soundbites, we discussed the Anthra case and a particular nuance of receiving a Phase 1 award. This concludes today's Source Selection Soundbite. If this video was helpful, hit the like and subscribe button to ensure you don't miss any new material. If you want more details on the subject, they are available on the Source Selection Answer app. It contains lectures, quizzes, court cases, sample documents, and more material that allows practitioners to quickly obtain actionable knowledge. Thanks for watching. See you next time.